At some point, usually in your mid-30s, something shifts, your skin doesn't recover the way it used to, fine lines don't fade as quickly, dryness lingers longer, and small damage starts to stick around. That's not random. It's collagen. Your body is simply producing less of it and repairing it more slowly. And here's where things get frustrating. Right when this starts happening, you get flooded with solutions. Collagen gummies, collagen drinks, collagen-boosting foods everywhere. Everything promising tighter skin, fewer wrinkles, faster repair. But the more you look into it, the more confusing it gets. One source says bone broth is the answer. Another says powders are better. Some say food doesn't matter at all, and somehow everything sounds scientific, but none of it gives you a clear answer. So you end up doing a little bit of everything, hoping something works, but nothing really changes. Because the real issue isn't effort. It's that most of these recommendations are either incomplete or completely misunderstood. Before we go any further, you need a simple way to make sense of all this. Otherwise, everything will keep sounding contradictory. Because not all collagen foods work in the same way. In reality, there are only 3 ways any food can support your collagen. First, direct support. These are foods that actually provide collagen, or the exact building blocks your body uses to make it. Think of this as giving your skin raw materials. Second, indirect support. These don't contain collagen themselves, but they provide the nutrients your body needs to produce it. Without them, your body literally can't build collagen properly, even if you have the raw materials. And third, protective support. These help prevent your existing collagen from breaking down. They don't build new structure, but they slow the damage. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They focus on just one of these, usually the first one. They take collagen or eat collagen-rich foods, but ignore the nutrients that actually allow their body to use it. So nothing really changes. And once you understand this framework, everything we're about to go through becomes very clear. What works, what doesn't, and why. So instead of guessing, I went through the actual evidence behind the most popular collagen foods you see everywhere. Not just what people say works, but what your body can realistically use. And what stood out was pretty clear. Some of these foods do support collagen, and in a meaningful way. Some barely do anything at all. And a few are only helpful if one specific condition is met, which most people completely miss. And that's where things get interesting, because there's one factor, a single nutrient, that quietly determines whether any of this works or fails. Most people don't even think about it. But without it, you can eat all the collagen you want, and your skin still won't improve. We'll come back to that in a moment. First, let's cut through the noise and quickly sort what's worth your time and what isn't. Let's strip this down quickly, no fluff, just what actually holds up. Collagen gummies? Mostly marketing. Low doses, added sugar, nowhere near enough to make a real difference. Collagen creams? They sound logical, but they don't work the way you think. Most collagen creams use large molecules that sit on the surface. A few high-end products use smaller peptides, but even then, the effect is minimal compared to eating it. Moisturizing, yes. Rebuilding collagen? No. Collagen powder? This is one of the few that actually delivers. Broken down into peptides, your body can absorb and use. Simple, consistent, effective. Collagen water? Looks clean, feels healthy, but usually underdosed and overpriced. You're paying more for branding than benefit. Bone broth? This one sits in the middle. It can provide collagen, but the quality is wildly inconsistent. Mistake most people make, assuming any broth will do. Even if it gels, the exact amount varies wildly, from 2 grams to 10 grams per cup. Fish skin? Surprisingly powerful. High in the type of collagen your skin actually uses, and easier for your body to absorb. Seeds? No collagen at all. But skipping them is a mistake. They provide key minerals your body needs to build collagen. Egg whites? Underrated, cheap, effective. They supply specific amino acids that support collagen production. Berries? Helpful, but misunderstood. They protect collagen more than they build it. We'll keep them here in the fast verdicts because that's really all you need to know. And then there's the one thing almost everyone overlooks: the factor that determines whether any of this works at all. We're about to get into that. But first, let's break down the ones that actually make a difference and why. Now, let's slow this down and look at what actually makes a difference. Not just what sounds good, but what your body can realistically use. Collagen peptides. These are collagen proteins that have already been broken down into smaller chains called peptides. That matters because your body doesn't absorb whole collagen very well. It needs it in smaller pieces. So when you take collagen peptides, you're essentially giving your body ready-to-use building blocks, especially amino acids like glycine and proline, which are directly involved in skin structure. And this is one of the few areas where we actually see consistent results. Not dramatic overnight changes, but over time, improvements in skin hydration, elasticity, and recovery. That's the key here, consistency. This isn't a quick fix. It's steady support, which is why the best way to use it isn't complicated. Just make it part of something you already do. Coffee, smoothies, anything you have daily, bone broth. This is often promoted as the natural collagen source. And yes, it can contain collagen. But the problem is reliability. The actual collagen content depends on how it's made, how long it's cooked, what parts are used, how concentrated it is. Some batches are rich in collagen, others barely contain any. A simple way to tell? If it turns into a gel when cooled, that's a sign it contains collagen. If it stays liquid, there's probably not much there. Even if it gels, the amount varies wildly, from about 2 grams to 10 grams per cup. So while bone broth can be a good addition, it's not something you can depend on for consistent intake. Compared to that, collagen powder is simply more predictable, natural versus consistent. That's the trade-off. Fish ski, marine collagen. This is one of the most overlooked but highly effective sources because it's especially rich in type 1 collagen, which is the main type found in your skin. And here's what makes it different. The collagen from fish tends to be broken down into smaller peptides, which makes it easier for your body to absorb and use. That's why studies often show improvements in skin elasticity and reduction in visible wrinkles with regular intake. But you don't need anything complicated. You don't need expensive marine supplements. Sometimes the simplest change is the most effective. Eat fish a couple of times a week and stop throwing away the skin. Seeds. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't contain collagen at all, but still matters a lot. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, these aren't collagen foods, but they provide something just as important, minerals like zinc and copper. Why do those matter? Zinc activates the enzyme that builds collagen. Copper links collagen fibers together. Without them, the whole process slows down. Here's a simple reference. About 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds can cover your daily copper needs. Small habit, big impact. Sprinkle it on anything. Oats, salads, yogurt. No effort, but it fills a critical gap most people ignore. Egg whites. Not trendy, not marketed, but quietly effective. Egg whites are rich in proline, one of the key amino acids involved in collagen production, and they're highly bioavailable. In fact, egg whites have a higher bioavailability than most plant proteins. Your body absorbs about 90% of what's there. One small detail that matters, cook them. Cooking makes the protein easier to digest and absorb. So again, this isn't complicated. It's just about including simple, consistent sources your body knows how to use. And that brings us to the part most people completely miss. Because you can have all the building blocks, all the support nutrients, all the protection in place, and your body still won't produce strong, stable collagen unless one critical piece is there. Now here's the part most people don't want to hear. It's not just about what you add, it's also about what you keep doing that quietly breaks collagen down. Start with sugar. High sugar intake leads to a process called glycation, where sugar molecules bind to collagen fibers and make them stiff and brittle. So even if you're building collagen, you're damaging it at the same time. Then there's smoking. It reduces blood flow to your skin, which means fewer nutrients and less oxygen reaching the cells that repair collagen. And finally, UV exposure. Sunlight, especially without protection, directly breaks down existing collagen. This one is constant, daily, silent. And here's the reality, you can't out-supplement these habits. If the damage is ongoing, no amount of collagen intake will fully compensate for it. The missing key, vitamin C. This is the part almost everyone overlooks, and it's the reason so many collagen routines fail. Vitamin C is not optional, it's required. Not helpful, not supportive, required. Because your body uses vitamin C to stabilize and structure collagen fibers. Without it, the collagen you produce is weak, loose, and unstable. Think of it like this. You can have all the raw materials, all the amino acids, all the collagen peptides, but without vitamin C, your body can't lock them into strong, functional tissue. It's like trying to build a structure without reinforcement. It might form, but it won't hold. In extreme cases, this becomes very obvious. There's a condition called scurvy, where the body literally can't maintain collagen. Skin weakens, wounds don't heal, tissue breaks down. Now, you're probably not dealing with that level of deficiency, but here's the important part. You don't need to be severely deficient for your collagen to be compromised. Even a mild lack of vitamin C can mean slower repair, weaker skin, less elasticity. And this is where most people go wrong. They focus on collagen intake, but ignore the one nutrient that makes it usable, so nothing really changes. Now, the good news, this is easy to fix. Some of the best sources are simple. Everyday foods. Red bell pepper, extremely high in vitamin C. Kiwi. One of the most efficient sources. Strawberry, adds both protection and support. Broccoli, easy to include in meals. But there's one small detail that matters more than people realize. Heat destroys vitamin C. So if everything is heavily cooked, you're not getting as much as you think. That's why adding even one raw source per day, something simple, like half a bell pepper or a kiwi, can make a real difference. And this is the turning point. Because once vitamin C is in place, now your body can actually use everything else you're doing. This is what most people are missing, and it's why their results never match their effort. Now, instead of overcomplicating this, let's reduce everything into something you can actually follow, because none of this works if it's inconsistent. You don't need a perfect diet. You don't need a long routine. You just need a few key pieces, done regularly. Think of this as your 30-second collagen protocol. In the morning, add collagen peptides to something you already drink. Coffee, tea, smoothie, it doesn't matter. No extra step, just attach it to a habit that already exists. At lunch, include one raw source of vitamin C, half a red bell pepper, a kiwi, a handful of strawberries. Simple, but this is the switch that makes everything else work. A few times a week, eat fish with the skin on, not every day. Just consistently enough to give your body that high-quality collagen source. Daily, add eggs and a small amount of seeds. Doesn't need to be precise. Just make it part of your meals. And always, make sure vitamin C is present somewhere in your day. That's it. No extremes. No complicated tracking. One important reality check. Don't expect changes in a week. Skin turnover takes about 6 to 8 weeks. Give it 2 to 3 months of consistency before judging. Because in this case, consistency beats everything. And when these pieces are in place, your body finally has what it needs to start rebuilding properly. For years, your skin knew exactly how to repair itself. It built collagen. It recovered quickly. It stayed firm without you even thinking about it. That ability didn't disappear. It just slowed down. Because the inputs changed. Fewer building blocks. Less support. More breakdown. So what you're seeing now isn't your skin failing. It's your body working with limited resources. And when you give it what it actually needs, the right materials, the right support, the right conditions, it responds. Not instantly, but predictably. Your skin isn't broken, it's just undersupplied. Here's something simple you can test, starting today. For the next 30 days, make one change. Add a real source of vitamin C to every day. Not a supplement. Actual food. Take a photo of your skin today. No filters, natural light. Then repeat it in 30 days. Don't change everything else. Just fix the one piece most people miss and see what happens. And if you prefer clear science-based guidance, without the noise, without the hype, follow along. Because small inputs done consistently are what actually change how you age.